Okay, so welcome to the second broadcast for Scouting for Points. It's Ryan here, got Matt and Jack alongside me. We're going to start with talking about transfers and more recently the Jan transfer windows and whether there are any players from the Jan transfer windows that are worth considering for the team. There were 217 players transferred into the Premier League over the last 5 Jan transfer windows. So, Jack, Matt, do either of you want to take a guess as to how many transfers we've had in the last transfer window?
40.
26.
Well done, Matt. So, Jack, if do you know which team has been most active in a Jan transfer window over the last 5 years?
Aston Villa.
No, it was actually Palace. Generally, looking at the transfers that Palace have had over the last 5 years, I think the only noticeable impact has come from Luka Milivojevic, who is now their captain, and for a long time was taking a lot of penalties and free kicks and scoring quite a lot of goals. This season, less so. Matt, to you, do you know which team was most active in this last transfer window?
I want to say it's either Liverpool or was it Burnley or something like that?
It's actually West Brom. Now, I'm just going to kind of do a quick one for preferences, okay? I'm going to say 2 names and you just need to tell me who you would have preferred to have signed in the Jan transfer window. So, Matt, let's start with you. Bruno Fernandes or Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang?
Fernandes, easy.
Jack?
Fernandes, he's a little bit younger.
And the other one is Virgil van Dijk or Emerick Laporte?
Van Dijk for me, purely the fact that he's been playing in the Premier League. Laporte, obviously coming in from, you'll correct me on who he came from, but always less
Bilbao.
of a risk. Bilbao, yeah, less of a risk.
What about you, Jack?
Van Dijk, for sure. I mean, he's won them a title last year. I think that's pretty much shown this year, right? I mean, that without him, they've just been pretty average, to be honest.
Well, talking about this season, I guess looking at the window, and we've been closed for a month now, and performances so far, I would say Jesse Lingard is probably the one player to stand out. He's already scored 3 goals, got 2 assists, and 6 bonus points. And at 5.9 million, he's pretty cheap. And if you kind of want Antonio, you'd be paying another 0.6 of a million. But long term as well, you need to kind of pay attention to Minamino, who kind of left Liverpool on loan to Southampton. He's already got 2 goals, so worth keeping an eye out on. Josh Maja, who's joined Fulham. And the final one is Martin Odegaard. He hasn't got any goals yet, and he will probably be rotated, so maybe he's going to have less of an impact, but again, one to consider. Do you agree? Do you think there are any other players that we should be looking out for?
I would personally avoid Southampton players at the moment. They just look completely out of sorts.
Yeah, I mean, I should highlight that when I'm making this sketch, there are a lot of defensive players like Wilfred and Ndidi who have come to the Premier League who've done extremely well. But obviously, I'm talking about players to consider from a fantasy football point of view, not as a team in the Premier League. Yeah.
You know, I think you're completely right. From a fantasy standpoint, of the players that are signing in January, there's very few that make an instant impact. I guess there's a couple that I quite like the look of, but you know, haven't necessarily shone yet. Maitland-Niles is one. You know, obviously playing quite attacking for his position. Willock, I think he could make a difference to Newcastle because their team is so bad. And the striker you'd put in for West Brom, I think he started off pretty well. He scored a goal and got an assist or so, and then he's been pretty quiet for the last couple of games. Is it Diang, is it?
Yep. Okay, so Jack, can you take us into the next topic, please?
Absolutely. So I'm going to be looking a little bit at this game week, how players have performed. Now, I think the most interesting thing for me is that the top 4 players, in fact, it's more than that, it's the top 5 players that have scored the most points so far this game week. Under 1% of teams have selected those players. Matt, we can go around the room if you like. I'm sure you can guess them, or guess some of them.
Okay, Bale.
Yeah, Spitz.
I'd go with the keeper, Guaita. Who I put in?
No, next one, Matt.
Really?
Next one would be yeah, it was a goalies, wasn't it?
Do you know what the goalies were up there? Do you know what the goalies had a great week so far? But actually, it's second was Bartley. No, it's Bartley, believe it or not, for
goal and a clean sheet for West Brom. Yeah.
Yeah, that's it. Defender that gets a goal, they're always going to get a lot of points. Then you got 2 from Arsenal, actually, Pepe and Willian, and El Ghazi was number 5. After that, you've got Son. So Bale, 19 points already. Obviously, we're only really halfway through the game week. It's the one I called out last week, but didn't have the guts to put him in. Yeah, so Bale top scorer. I'm glad scouting for points has actually helped someone out there. Matt, you had called out Gundogan. Now, with De Bruyne back, are you concerned the amount of maybe the playing time he's going to get, but really the amount of opportunity in front of goal?
Yeah, fair point. And also we had a discussion with De Bruyne. I'm very surprised that he played the full 90 minutes. I thought he'd slowly come back into the City fold, maybe getting pulled off at the 60-minute mark. But hey, Aguero played as well. He played, I think that was a good 60 minutes. So Pep is obviously, as he always has been, he likes to rotate, the strong squad that City have. They've still got a lot of fixtures. They're still in the 4 tournaments, I believe, as well. So quadruple is still a possibility. But Gundogan has been a standout player for City this season. I think he's still going to be a goal threat, even though obviously De Bruyne has come back into the fold and is going to play more of that advanced role.
But I'd
Pep,
agree as well, because I was watching the game, and every time De Bruyne had the ball, he was kind of outside the box, and I was looking for the player who was inside the box, and it was Aguero and Gundogan. They were the 2 players who were in the box when De Bruyne had the ball outside the box. I think when he does play, he will still be a threat. And let's not forget, I think he only costs about 6 million. So he's significantly cheaper than De Bruyne or Sterling.
All right, Spitz, you had gone for Ederson. So far this game week, there is 2 games. They let in a goal. And, when Man City let in a goal, he's probably not going to get more than 2 points. In fact, he did get 2 points. So,
that's just what it is. Yeah, I would still stick by him, obviously, because it was based on the fact that there are 2 double game weeks. And really, it was the first goal they had conceded since like November or December. So, West Ham did well to score the goal. But generally, City still looks strong at the back. So I would still keep Edison in for the 2 weeks. And then after that, as I said in the previous podcast, look at someone like Martinez to go into the team.
So yes, let's catch up then on our predictions for the game week. We're over halfway, but there's still some good games to come. As we can see, we've got a standout leader at the moment. Well done, Ryan. Myself and Jack both tiring at the bottom with 3. From a fixtures result point of view, I'm just trying to think of some standout ones really here. I suppose Brighton West Brom was a fascinating game to watch. We all 3 of us have gone for different results as well. Seriously, how did Brighton not walk away with at least a point? Clearly a goal that should have stood, plus missing 2 penalties. What was your take on that game, Ryan?
I think Brighton should have got at least a draw in that game, but I'm still happy that my prediction was correct, but I did not have any West Brom defenders in my team, so no clean sheet points.
Yeah, there's some weird ones. It's like some very strange refereeing decisions, and that Brighton game with Dunk's free kick was probably the top of all of them.
Yeah, I mean, I think if we look back at the fixtures then, so I don't think there's any that we've got, way off. We knew games like Wolves and Newcastle would be tight. I think as per what we said about Leeds and Villa, and also West Brom, Brighton. Arsenal seems to be the standout one. None of us went for Arsenal to win. Why do you think that is, Jack?
Form, with the amount of injuries they've got, and Vardy not on form. I think I'd like to change my Leicester prediction for later in the week, if that was possible, because I don't trust them anymore. I think they're actually going to struggle to get top four now as well with the injuries they've got.
I think it'll be a good opportunity for Albrighton to come back into the team, because he's always had good link-up play with Vardy. Not really surprising the others. We all went, unanimous decision with Tottenham winning, and also Liverpool. Yesterday was a bit of an interesting game. I haven't actually caught up on the highlights yet. But yeah, 1-0, 1-0 Everton. So you said, Jack, then if you could change your predictions for the remaining fixtures, you would. Any from you, Ryan, that you would change if you were able to?
No, not really. I think the teams I'm expecting to perform in a certain way are the only surprise for me was that Arsenal result.
Perfect. So I think it's going to be hard to catch, unfortunately, Ryan.
I think the big one where the two that seem more obvious is the Tottenham Fulham game and the Man United Palace game. Spitz, you've gone for a draw in both of those. I think that could be where we get two back, to be honest with you.
Cool. That basically brings us to the end of this broadcast. Don't forget to check out our site, scoutingforpoints.com, where there is more in-depth analysis. Don't forget to like or subscribe and subscribe.
Leave your comments, please. Just give us any feedback. We're new to this.